I think every day, especially in today's world, is a sale. And we revert back, and we already spoke about the online content where people are shopping around for best price and things like CarWow and other options of leasing. I think you're already at a race to the bottom anyway.
Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Automotive Business Show. I am Mackenzie, and for this episode I'm joined by Ian. Ian, I guess I'll let you introduce yourself first. Tell us a bit about who you are, what you do, and we'll go from there.
Yep, certainly. My name's Ian Hughes, sales manager at Mercedes-Benz Brooklands, part of retail group. Have been here for 14 months, with Mercedes for just shy of 2 years, and then prior to that I was with BMW Group for 14 years. So from head office and obviously into the retail network and sales manager positions at various sites.
Cool, awesome, and thank you very much for giving us some time to sit and talk to us. So we're really just going to talk today about sort of industry changes, what has changed, hasn't changed, what is sort of your opinions on that are. Interesting, like you say, you've worked with a couple of premium brands, Mercedes, you stayed 2 years just now?
Yeah, coming up 2 years, yeah.
So probably interesting just to know if you've noticed anything different from how BMW do things to Mercedes-Benz, or if it all feels very similar.
Yeah, no, to be honest with you, it all feels very similar. I think the industry, the fact that we all work in the motor industry, and you've got Mercedes and you have BMW, both obviously great brands, both good brands to work for, both produce and manufacture great cars as well, and certainly cars that fit all customer requirements, certainly nowadays, obviously with the model range expanding. But in reference to a process of selling a car, it's exactly the same. Nothing changes whether you're working at BMW, whether you're working at Mercedes. Ultimately, it's about dealing with that inquiry correctly, following the process, and ultimately getting to a goal where you sell a car and the customer is obviously leaving your premises completely satisfied. So,
would you say red tape has maybe become more of a thing on certain processes, more boxes to cross and things along the way?
Yeah, potentially on more so. I'd say that is within FCA guidance and obviously compliance there as well. But I guess sometimes it depends who you're working for. If you're working direct for the manufacturer, or if you're working at a franchise and it's a family-run business, the tape within a family-run business is not as tight as it is within a PLC organisation. And certainly experienced that from BMW, but also as well working for Mercedes-Benz Retail Group, where it's owned by Daimler. Certainly, you do it's 4I principle, and obviously the process is a lot stricter. Whereas you've probably got a little bit more give or movement, should I say, within a family-run business.
Yeah. I think you always feel the corporateness of Mercedes-Benz, don't you? I think a lot of the time. But okay, cool. And so you're at the Brooklands site, of course, attached to Mercedes-Benz World.
Yeah.
How's that for you? Like, what's it like being attached to Mercedes-Benz World? Does that help you in any way, do you think?
I think it has its sort of positives and negatives. Certainly, obviously, some challenges as well that we obviously receive. I think one, the benefit is the fact that we do have a showroom, but also as well you've got pretty much every model is on display. If we don't have it in the showroom, it's obviously displayed on the first floor of the Mercedes-Benz World. So that's a massive plus point for us, because some showrooms are not as big, and certainly across the country they can only probably display 8 or 9 cars. But when you're displaying 25 cars plus whatever else on the floor, you're very fortunate in the fact that we've probably got the majority of the model range. Some of the things that work against you, I think, obviously you're under more so pressure with customer satisfaction, I would say, certainly being the brand centre, because obviously there's a level of expectation not only from us as employees, but certainly people that enter into our business. So I think that gives its added pressure, the fact that you're at the flagship basically for UK. Some people are unaware the fact that we even sell cars sometimes. I think it is just the museum and obviously the track outside. And again, the fact that you have got the track and you've got people that come and stay at the Brooklands Hotel, sometimes you are picking up, again, which could be a benefit, those customers nationally that we wouldn't potentially see, because they're here staying at the hotel, they're using the spa facilities whilst their partner is out on the track in an AMG model. So it's got its perks, but sometimes it does have its challenges as well.
Has that perhaps changed the way you deal with certain things, would you say? People wandering in perhaps that aren't
I'd say we're very slick in reference to the way our meet and greet is. So certainly from our hosts that we have in reception. So initially when you walk into the museum, you've got the main reception, which is from Mercedes-Benz World. And then you have obviously our reception within the retail arena, which obviously with our sales showroom. And certainly I think not necessarily that it's a harder qualification, but certainly you need to be aware that it's probably a little bit more difficult to work out actually who is that potential customer. I guess they all are, but who is that customer that's in there to buy a new or used vehicle from Brooklands and wants obviously that experience from ourselves. But sometimes we try and the only thing different really from our showroom will be the fact that the windows of the cars are up and all the cars are locked, whereas any other retailer you went to, it would be all the cars open, everyone jumps in and kind of does what they want. But with that, at least then, do you know what I mean? It gives the sales executive and the host the opportunity to kind of qualify the customer where they are before we start entering into people that are just tire kickers or wasting our time. They just here just to visit, and it's easy for them to kill 5 minutes, walk around the sales. And actually, it is a sales arena. We do have a budget still. We do have a target. Those sales executives do earn commission. Ultimately, their job is to sell new or used cars. So it does have its challenges. But
I guess trying to give a good customer experience balanced with not having your time wasted. In an industry where time is especially important.
And I think so. And again, do you know what I mean? It's you don't want the sales ex being wasted their time. It's not the fact that they might not be in the market to buy a car. They probably are, but we don't always have people walking in that want to buy a car. They are just there for the experience of Mercedes-Benz world and kind of what's its room, and they walk into the sales arena, and if they want to look at the cars, that's fine. But still, do you know what I mean? There's still the qualification period that we need to go through to identify their buying needs, their requirements, and what they're looking at.
Yeah, I can imagine the general public sometimes. I mean, we've done events there, and of course they rope off things like one of the suites, like S-Car Suite, and the first thing everyone wants to do is walk the other side of the roped off area, have a nose around. So I guess very unique challenges for you there.
Yeah, sure.
But then if we go to then maybe sort of put Mercedes-Benz by the side, and as a retail site, what challenges would you say you face today? What's sort of the biggest things that you have to deal with in your role?
I would say the biggest challenge in today's world will be online. The fact that if everything is easily accessible, no matter whether you're buying a car or whatever it may be in life, whatever you're trying to purchase, I think in the car industry, again, the challenge is obviously trying to retain profit, and certainly front end profit. When you're looking at some of the volume cars like an A class, for example, or a C or an E class, to a certain extent, or GLC. There's other retailers out there nationally for Mercedes-Benz, whether they are, privately owned, whether they are franchised or a PLC, that ultimately they still have a budget to achieve. And sometimes the most difficult thing is trying to retain that profit, but actually, when you look at the likes of, say, Carwow, or certainly lease companies out there, it sometimes can become a race to the bottom in the price or the level of discount that's being offered on those cars when we're trying to retain some profit. We've all got our targets too, but the product's great. The options that come on these vehicles are great, and some of the technology inside the vehicles are great. Things like Connect Me. We should be trying to sell the benefit of the vehicle rather than just giving the car away. And I think sometimes that's where we come unstuck. And there's only a few models I think within our range where you can say we sell that for that G-Wagon, for example, where production is not as great as it is on an A class, and it gives you the opportunity then to pull that money back, and there's no need to discount that car. But some of the other stuff that may stick or it's age stock, I get it, but I think online is the biggest challenge, because customers can just shop from anywhere, generate 5 prices or 10 prices locally or nationally or whatever their search is, and they're going on best price, and actually there is a customer service element to it that we should be providing as well.
And they don't of course show you that quote until after sitting down for a while. I think a lot of people don't realise, do they, the things that they do as customers. We're all customers, but I think buying a car, people do certain things that they like. Get a car quote and focus on the price.
And some of them will tell you that white lie. We had a prime example a couple of weeks ago where the customer comes in, sits down, negotiates, agrees the price, monthly payment, deposit, test drives the vehicle, needs to speak to her husband, sits in the cafe, and then the next thing the sales executive sees her walking out of the business. So she's basically just, in the nicest possible way for a test drive, wasted the sales executive's time, wasted the retail sales manager's time for putting the deal together, pricing the car, and actually all she wanted was a test drive. And she's probably one of those customers that's shopped online is probably going to go and, you know, be supplied a new car from a lease company, because ultimately they can't offer a test drive. So they'll come to the local Mercedes-Benz retailer or whatever manufacturer they're dealing with to use us for that, because they know we run those cars.
I think there is that sometimes it's just that they don't realise that they're probably not deliberately trying to go out someone's way to cause them problem, but they don't realise that they've used that person's time who's trying to earn a commission, and then of course they're going to bought it somewhere else cheaper. So I get you started to mention it now, but then I guess how do people combat that in this industry where people can just get a quote that easily? I think you've already sort of, like I say, started to mention that you can give a service in person better, and
I think sometimes as well, you know, we witness it, you know, with say some of these lease companies, sometimes they may offer this wonderful headline, they may offer the, you know, 3 months or 6 months payment up front, but actually when you go to that person and you go to that business and you try and buy that car, they actually don't have it available. You know, so it's great the fact that it's advertised and it's a headline rate, but when they actually come to delivering the goods that the customer wants to purchase, they go, it's not that then. You know, they can't get it. So I think that's when you then realise, you know what I mean, they're better off coming to ourselves. Sometimes, you know, those cars are registered as a used car, so therefore, you know, it's already got one owner, they're the second owner, and but in today's world, all the customer is worried about is the monthly payment. But actually, if you know, the difference is obviously coming to ourselves is, one, you know who you're buying from, two, we're always going to be there. Sometimes these lease companies are sort of set up in someone's bedroom or a garage somewhere, and actually
that's really true.
If there is,
I've known of a couple.
And if there is a problem, then you know, in 12 months' time or 18 months' time, when you go back to that business, they're not there. You know, so you pass the problem to us. At least we're always going to be there. You can come to us. We can service your car. You know, you've got a point of contact from a sales executive to a retail sales manager. You've got the benefit of a star expert. Who is certainly on site, where they can, you know, arrange for your new car collection. You have a handover of all the controls and the features and benefits on the vehicle, but also as well a refresher. Because 9 times out of 10, these people that are getting a car from a lease company are not getting a handover. They're just given the keys and off you go.
Yeah, and of course
there's nothing. And
cars have so much tech, don't they?
And they end up on our doorstep anyway, going, I bought this car from whoever lease, and I don't know how this works, or even just simple things like the connectivity of your mobile phone device, where it's the Bluetooth. How do I pay my phone?
Do you ever see that as an opportunity, or is that more just an annoyance? You know, that person. It should come to me just now.
Yeah, you know what? No, it can. I think at the time it's annoying because you know, because the star experts, like, you know, or whoever it may be, is, you know, they've bought a car from elsewhere and now we're doing this. But actually, it's also an opportunity, because it might be the fact that we can, you know, certainly with Connect Me, is that we activate the account here and we've got the customer's details for servicing and after sales. So it does help after sales kind of in the short term, but actually in the long term it could benefit us.
Yeah. So it's like, again, that long term relationship.
Yeah, of course.
Brand. Yeah. I think again that was a really good point that you made about you'll always be there. I think that's a great combat to all of those cheap leasing deals. That's probably not mentioned. And then features, advantages, benefits.
Yeah, sure.
For everyone. Cool. All right. So that's where we're at, I guess, now. Then, is there what are you looking forward to, perhaps, as we move forward? Anything? Not necessarily just we talk about marketing, but it might be autonomous cars. It might be electric cars. I don't know. That's always a big topic at the moment.
I think the next big topic for the motor industry is certainly electric cars. It's obviously certainly Mercedes is, you know, just availability, isn't it? You know, it's the EQC, which is the first full electric car for ourselves. Obviously we've had the Smart EQ, but we need to, I guess, when there's a wider variety of what models and what cars are available to the customers individually and their personal preference, I think that's when you'll start seeing the pickup. I think there's still a massive amount of uncertainty out there, certainly within the United Kingdom, with customers that don't know enough about electric cars. They don't understand the distance and the ranges that they can do. Charge points, you know, people don't understand. They think there's not enough charge points about, but actually when you sit down and, you know, you deal with certainly like an EQ specialist that we've got, certainly at Brooklands, they will share all that information with you. And so it is there. The infrastructure, I think, is building, not slowly but quite gradually, I would say. You know, there's always new stuff that's coming out, I guess it's just a mindset thing. I think we're in that generation, aren't we, where you've got the millenniums and people switching over and they're all technology and everything's all online, whereas I think you've also got the previous that are kind of a little bit uncertain and still don't get the technology of an iPad, for example, but actually then trying to sell them an electric car as well, they're a little bit confused, but it is going that way. But there's not enough, I don't think, yet, as in model-wise for customers. And also as well, they get turned off by the price initially. When they find out what the list price is and on the road price, it's not until you sit down with someone and you break down the costs and you then understand where potentially the future savings are going to be.
Yeah. I think and it's probably it's just different, isn't it? At that point, you just have to know what's different and then understand it. Yeah. People always resist change.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. So quite a bit around electric cars. Any other sort of areas that you're sort of looking forward to, like autonomous? I mentioned as well. What do you think towards that?
Again, they say the infrastructure's there already, don't they, to go and do that? But I guess it's just the safety, isn't it? I think that is. It's going to happen, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? That's at some point, but I think that's so far down the line. I think you got to be able to switch fast from this combustion engine that we're in at the moment, be petrol, be diesel, and then customers into that electric phase, and then I think that will be sort of phase 2 or phase 3 of where they want to be. It's going to happen, but we're not sure.
We
don't even. And if I'm completely honest, that conversation doesn't even really come up in today's world in the showroom. Yes, electric does, but autonomous cars doesn't really get mentioned.
Cool. So back to electric then. I remember what I was going to ask you. Do you think there's an opportunity then with this sort of people have range anxiety? They do, like you say, they worry about the cost. Do you think there's an opportunity for social media and the information online probably to help with that?
Yeah.
From like someone like yourself. So I was talking to, of course, your star experts recently, and they said about using Instagram and they communicate with people on there. How do you see that stuff coming into play?
I think you're right. I think I don't think I think the information's there, but not enough people know about it. And it's about actually probably delivering those social media platforms and some of the websites that people can go on actually just by putting the make and model of the car in. It then brings up all that information, and again, it's exactly the same with the charge points. You can go and search, and it flags up across the UK or the map. How close those charge points are to that individual, whether it's a place of work, whether it's at their home, or wherever they may be. It will give and identify the nearest location where they can go and charge their car. Yeah. And I think it's about, and it's not until you go on training courses that you understand that these are websites and that there's a benefit and actually it can work and this is how it does.
So like Zap Map perhaps.
Yeah,
or these sorts of tools. No one really knows about it. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If I went and spoke to my mum, she would go, "What? What's Zap Map?" Do you know what I mean? She would. She wouldn't understand. What Zap Map was. But actually, when you sit down with her, and if she was thinking about going electric, then that's a benefit. Yeah. But I don't think enough people know, especially the ones that may be sort of sat on the fence 50-50. Their next car change, are they going to go from combustion to electric? And I'll stay with what I know because they're scared of change. But actually, when you realise that there's all those other benefits, it might convert them.
So you would say from a sales point of view, it probably helps having that information. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. All right. So I guess last couple of questions really.
Sure.
So marketing plans then for this year, or I guess just in general, what sort of stuff do you do? Or what do you find works? Do you VIP events? I know you do at Brooklands sometimes, but is there other stuff like that, or does that work well in this modern day?
I'm not. If I'm completely honest, I'm not a massive fan of sales events.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say it is because I think every day, especially in today's world, is a sale. We revert back and we already spoke about the online content where people are shopping around for best price and things like CarWow and other options of leasing. I think you're already at a race to the bottom anyway. I think by having a sales event, in which thousands of pounds it will cost the site, one, to put the sales event on, two, the time of dedication plus the marketing that goes with it as well, I think is quite costly. Potentially you're falsifying, I think, as well, your numbers for that week, because what you're doing is you pull away or pull in the future sales for the next week into that week. Yeah. So if you actually had a look on the month that you had the sales events, so it'd be tends to be March or September or the prior month, especially going to new car registration. If you looked as a combined, I guarantee your sales order take has not changed too much. It'll just be that 1 week where it has a spike.
Yeah.
But also I do understand that it does generate sort of, a busyness and a bit of, drama, and, people are a little bit more slightly motivated.
Balloons sell cars and all that stuff.
Balloons do sell cars sometimes. And the was now stickers, it does work because people put an energy and put a focus into it. But I think all you're doing is you're pulling that sale forward. Yes, it still happens. Yes, we're always going to do it. But actually, I think, it's.
So where would you put that money if you had free reign over it?
Where I put it?
Yeah. Put you on the spot now.
You'd probably put it more into. I would probably put it more into the offers that we've got. Do you know what I mean? In reference to, if you just try and obtain something, do something a little bit differently. You're gonna try and blow the margin to get to your target. Plus all the money you're doing in marketing. Is there anything else that you can spend on? Do you know what I mean? It's more beneficial towards the business. Could you put it more into training? You know what I mean? In reference to sales techniques or trial close that the sales sector's got, rather than trying to race to the bottom in reference to you can have the car, we're gonna give it away at this price. The other things which you got to remember is that when these sales events are taking place, these customers are not just on our database. They're with Audi, they're with BMW, so every time they're having a sales event, they're then getting that invitation as well.
Yeah.
And there's only you're a customer, and I appreciate most of it will be on email, and you're probably receiving it to your phone device. But how many of them do you actually keep? Do you know what I mean? You probably get deletes in that one, because it's all the time, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And it's not just the motor trade that are doing it. It could be, Currys or Comet, whoever you're set up with. Do you know what I mean? They're also sending you mail campaigns about their
so many, don't you?
And you get so many.
Yeah. So to try and cut through the noise is even harder. Cool.
Tough.
All right, last question, and you don't have to pick the brand you work for. What would you say your favourite car is if you could have anything?
Any car.
Money's no object. Any car you want.
Porsche 918 Spider.
There we are. Brave enough to pick another brand. I like it.
Can't quite afford the £1 million that the cars those go for second hand, but that would be. If you're going dream car, that would be dream car.
Awesome. Cool. Well, Ian, thanks very much once again for coming on the show, and maybe we'll have you back in soon at some point.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, cheers, thank you.